Dear student friends, today we are going to learn something about environment. This is the first lecture in the series of environment. So I would like to start with the introduction. Environment means all that is surrounding us, living or non-living. Space around us, our atmosphere, forest, rivers, soil, and all living things are most important for our survival. They are the manifestation of environment. Environment surrounds us, and each living or non-living thing has an influence on us. Apparently we feel that things which are far away from us should not have any influence on us. But that is not correct. Everything close or away from us has an influence from us. This is exactly similar as the phenomena of gravitation. Gravitation is not felt by us, but it influences us. When Newton discovered the laws of gravitation, he discovered a completely new phenomena, and this new phenomena is responsible for the stability of the earth and planets on the sun. The earth and the sun are all our environment. Human beings which are close or away from us are our environments. Suppose I am living in a flat in a housing society. I feel that I am independent because my flat is completely furnished. But it is not exactly like that. Suppose there is a shortage of electricity and a light suddenly go off. Then I feel the need of my neighbors. Suppose there is no water in the tap. Then I talk to my neighbors. So all these qualities of talking to our neighbors or making association with them is responsible for our caring of environment. When I say that environment is felt by things which are away from us, you will be surprised. But there is a phrase in environmental science which has become very important. Somebody has said that if a butterfly flaps its wings in Delhi, then it will affect the atmosphere in London after 6 months. Flopping of the wings will cause only a flutter of air, but this flutter of air is responsible for a tremendous effect later on. This effect is being felt when it is in the form of a wind. London and Delhi are so much far apart, but each has its own influence, each has its own understanding. That is why the teaching of environment is very important. The study of environment tells us that every small thing in nature is very important and it is to be taken care of. I will encounter a very small story from Aesop. A lion after a full meal was sleeping in a forest, and a rat actually danced on its back. The lion felt something shivering. He caught hold of the rat and said, "Very small creature, what dares you to make such a noise on my back? I will just kill you and eat you." The small rat said, "Sir, I will help you." The lion simply laughed and said, "You, a small creature, how are you going to help me?" "No, no," he said, "I will certainly help you when you will be in difficulty." After a few months, the lion was caught in a cage made of a nylon thread he could not escape from it. The poor rat came and said, "Do you remember me? I am your friend, and now I will rescue you." So each small thing in nature, maybe living or non-living, is bound to have an effect on us. That is why environment is very important. The study of environment has got importance because we have understood that earth is our mother, and we call it Mother Earth. In the ancient culture of India, we used to call earth as Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Means we are all family members, and each family member belongs to the Mother Earth. That is why we have got love for nature and all things available in nature. The flower and flowing river, the mountains and the rocks, the planets and the moon, all things that is surrounding us form a part of our environment, and it is our duty to keep this environment very clean and very sophisticated. What we want to convey to you is that the ancient had love for nature, and this love has been reflected in several other activities. We have got so many festivals with us, and in each festival animals are respected and treated as God. On the Pola day of Shravan Mas, we worship bullocks. Even we worship snakes which are venomous on the day of Nag Panchami. Then we have love for so many trees, and each tree is worshipped at every month, with the result that we have got association for trees and plants. What this association means is that our ancient people have got a great understanding that nature is manifestation of Mother Earth, and this must be kept very pleasant and harmonious nature, and we must have got a very natural growth of nature. That is why we love nature. This particular love of nature has made our society kind and good-hearted. Fortunately for us, nature was very kind. Nature was very kind with us because we live in an atmosphere which is not very hot or very cold. I am specifically talking about India. And India and Asian cultures are such that we live in an atmosphere which is not very cold or very hot. Maximum temperature that we get in summer is around 44 degrees centigrade, and in winter around 20 degrees centigrade, or even low in very few places. The kindness of nature has been reflected by a man. That is why we have got a tremendous affection for nature. Such a kindness was not there in Europe. In Europe, there was an extreme winter, and you may be knowing that the temperature falls to minus 20, minus 25 degrees centigrade in several parts of Europe and America. Similarly, this particular temperature goes for a very long time in Russia. That is why people in those countries have not evoked a very great affection for nature. Though they loved nature, they cared for nature, but their affection was limited, not unlimited like us. This particular resulted in one thing. They thought that we must conquer nature. And conquerance of nature means to capture nature and to make it captive itself is a phenomena which was not pleasant. Unfortunately for us, we in countries like Asia never dwindled with it and never venture to capture nature. We love nature as our God. We love nature as our friend, and we love nature as a Mother Earth. This particular feeling was also there in Greeks in the ancient times. In Greek there is a theory known as the Gaia theory, and in the Gaia theory Mother is treated as Mother Earth. In China Mother is treated as Mother Earth. We actually treated Mother as Kali or Goddess or Saraswati or Lakshmi. In all these particular cases, we have got goddesses or mothers which are very kind but very strict and very disciplinary, with the result that they will always try to venture that our life will be successful and smooth. Now we are coming to some interesting scientific part of it. The scientific part is we are living on the earth. The earth is very, very big, as all of you know very well. The earth is a planet of our solar system. Our solar system has sun at the center, and there are 8 planets surrounding it and moving around it. Earth is the only planet where living things are existing, because our distance from the sun is such an optimum one that we do not get extreme low temperatures or extreme heat. The sun is very powerful. The temperature inside the sun is few lakh degrees centigrade. The sun gives ultraviolet and visible radiation. The earth has an atmosphere made up of gases in which nitrogen is maximum, but other gases also exist, and these gases absorb ultraviolet radiation in the upper atmosphere, with the result that we do not get this harmful radiation on us or on earth. We get only visible radiation. The earth is a planet. Similarly, there are so many other planets. We have recently visited Mars, and we are very curious to know Mars also. The moon is ever shining with us, and the full moon actually is very beautiful and very pleasant. Now the question is this is all our environment. This particular environment has to be respected. Our earth is a part of the universe. What is this universe? The universe is very, very big thing. Universe was born some 13.4 billion years ago from an extremely small point which was extremely thick and extremely dense. And they said that, or scientists believed that, this particular spot, a dot or a particle, very, very small than a dust, we have to imagine only, we cannot anticipate it or we cannot see it. This dust particle exploded with a very big bang, and that is called Big Bang theory. The Big Bang theory tells us that the dust particle exploded and several particles came out from it in the form of big fireballs. These fireballs went into different directions, and years after years went, and the fireballs get cooled, with the result that various solar systems are formed. Believe me, that our solar system is only one solar system. We have got several solar systems in this universe. We have galaxies, we have meteoroids, and all of these galaxies and meteoroids are continuously present in the solar systems available in the universe. So universe is very, very vast. One cannot imagine the magnitude and the depth of universe. You all know very well that if you take universe as a circle or an ellipse, this particular circle I have drawn and it has got a boundary. The boundary means it is enclosing the circle. Believe me, universe has no boundary. Because it has no boundary, it has no center. Meaning thereby, universe is continuously moving or expanding. And we cannot assign or fix the boundary to it. Then, in our solar system, we have got visitors like galaxies, meteors, and there are several planets who are shining. If we look with naked eye to the planets, we can count almost 6,000 stars. The stars which are far away from us, we can see with naked eye because they are shining and they are lustrous. But if we see with telescope, we can see almost 50,000 stars. And each star is like a sun because our sun is a big star. The sun is shining continuously since millions of years, and they are giving us energy, not only to us but all the planets. The planets are moving around the sun in elliptical or circular manner, with the result that sometimes they are very close to the sun, sometimes they are away. The same is with our earth. When we are closer to the sun, we get winter. We get winter, we get summer, and when we are away from the sun, we get winter. These particular seasonal changes, therefore, are occurring because the earth revolves around the sun. You all must be aware of one very important name of a scientist who first predicted and then confirmed scientifically that sun is stationary and earth is revolving around it. His name was Galileo Galilei. We have got proofs that Aryabhatta, the Indian astronomer in 12th century, has predicted the same thing, and he also has said that sun is stationary and the earth is moving. But prior to that, there was a very great philosopher known as Aristotle, and Aristotle has predicted that sun is moving and earth is stationary. This was around 3rd or 4th century BC. Aristotle and his disciples believed this because they say every day the sun rises and the sun sets, and the movement of the sun can be felt by all of us. That is why the sun is moving and the earth is stationary. This particular fact is also because of the fact that sun is all powerful, earth is a smaller planet, and therefore sun is moving. This particular belief went almost for 1,500 years. Most of the people were believing that earth is stationary. It was Galileo who said, because he viewed the telescope, all the planetary movements, and proved that the earth is moving, the sun is stationary. The Galileo's version was so powerful and so unbelievable at that time that he was punished by church. The punishment was he had to come in the presence of several big people and confess that he is wrong. By uttering the words, the earth is stationary. It is said that the old Galileo of 78 years age, completely tattered because he was living in poor conditions at the time, went in the audience, bowed down and said, "It is stationary, it is stationary, it is stationary." He went back slowly and then said, those who were very close to him, that very slowly he uttered, "What can I do? It is still moving." Ed it ast, that is what he uttered. This particular was a very important thing and a contribution of Galileo. So when we come to all the universe, our solar system is at the corner. Our solar system is a part of several solar systems. Our earth is in the solar system, That is why our Earth is the smaller one in the solar system. And in our Earth we have got all the countries which are existing. And in that particular country we live in a state. And in that state we live in a city. In that city we have got a village or a villages. So starting from a village to the universe is our universe. And the universe has got some other important properties also. These particular properties were given by physicists and chemists who pronounced the law of thermodynamics, that is called first law of thermodynamics, which states that energy cannot be created or destroyed in this universe. The meaning thereby is the manifestation of energy in various forms. And this particular energy is present in various forms in the form of heat, light, magnetism. It changes its form from one to other, but one can never create energy or one can never destroy it. That means the conservation of energy is the first principle which tells about the vastness of the universe, because whatever the energy you may be consuming, this particular energy will remain only in the universe. I am telling all the background in the beginning. This is because of the fact that unless and until we are aware of this background, it is not possible to appreciate whatever the environment is there. Because our environment, that is our solar system, and all our planets, all our cities, and in that cities we are living with human beings. All our human beings which are our close or which are away from us are our environment. The need has come to a greater extent because of the fact that since 1950 our awareness of environment has gone up. This is because of the fact that a great atomic explosion in Hiroshima and Nagasaki have thrown gamma powerful radiations in Japan and made a havoc not only of human beings which died instantaneously to the tune of 1 lakh people, but agriculture was affected, water was affected, houses were burning with fire. So everybody felt that the radiation is polluting our atmosphere, and from that point or from that day onwards, we all of us thought something about environment. If we want to live successfully, happily and a peaceful life, then our environment must be clean and healthy. We have appreciated the universe and the vastness of it, and have come to the conclusion that the universe must be kept harmonious and healthy. Then and then only man's life will be with pleasure and happiness. It is with a certain specific purpose that the course has been devised, and the course in environment is not exactly like regular courses that we do in our syllabus. This is because the purview of environment is very vast. This particular purview is vast because we are actually dealing with nature. And when we deal with nature, which is extremely vast in its magnitude only on the earth, then we can appreciate the environment to a greater extent. So in this particular course of environment, we shall be learning about biodiversity, our sources and our resources. Can we use it or reuse it? Our understanding of the pollution phenomena, and this particular will tell us that to have a healthy life and a peaceful one, we have to make a very sensible approach. Environment study is not like any other study in science in the sense that we study only one subject at a time. Suppose I am doing chemistry, I do only chemical reactions. When I do physics, I do only solids, solid state, electricity, magnetism. Or when I do botany and zoology, especially botany, I do only with flowers and vegetation. This particular course is in science, which commenced actually from 300 years or so, were started humbly by scientists to study their own discipline. Means alchemists were people who were after gold, and they were after metallurgy for transforming every small metal into a gold. This particular alchemist, which believed in manufacture or preparation of gold, and then the consequent chemical reactions which started coming out by the very famous works of Gay-Lussac, Lavoisier, formed a separate branch known as chemistry. Similarly, Newton, Edison and all that, they come and brought the branch of physics. Darwin is a pioneer in the branch of evolution. Each branch was developing independently, but they were separate in themselves till you can say 1930 or 1940. Meaning thereby that they were doing independent work extremely well, but they were not aware the existence of the other, or they never cared to see what is happening in the other branch. This was an apparent because of the fact that the branches were developing, and the development started very fast, and several problems cropped up from 1940 during the Second World War, and especially after the atomic explosion. There was a very good synthesis of several subjects, and this synthesis has got a far important result after our understanding of environment. Believe me, there are two important things or phenomena which has taken place from 1950 onwards. One is the environmental studies, and the second is space research. The environmental studies and space research, both of them, have brought so many topics close to each other. Why I am saying so many topics? Because in the environment, you have got topics like chemistry, physics, botany, zoology, geology, and of course mathematics. These are all these branches of science. And now we have got economics, now just see this and you will appreciate that the branches in science were progressing or growing slowly, but they were not aware of each other or even of economics or even of logic. They were specialized branches in chemistry and physics, but they were not much aware about the development of economics. So we have got several branches: economics, logic, medical science, or even somebody is saying we have got philosophy. Medical science is very important because the human body and the mechanism or biological phenomena that is occurring in the human body needs to be understood very carefully and with full accuracy. The same topics actually which are written on the board and the people who are working on them, that means economists and physicists, have come close together or had to come close together since 1950 onwards. Because there are several problems which were on the boundary line of the two subjects. And each has to understand or get the understanding of that particular problem by discussing among themselves. Economics man has to understand some physics, and a botany man has to understand some mathematics. It is the intermingling or intermixing of several topics. This is a very important development in our modern science. This particular development has evoked or come out only because of our studies of two important topics, environment and space research. Environmental studies are very important from that point of view. We should be good in specialization, but we should also be good in other topics. Meaning thereby, we should have got the understanding of the development of several topics in that branch. Nowadays, there is a joint meeting in space research where economists and philosophers even are invited. And they are thinking of calling even the poets and literary persons to get a good intermingling of several disciplines so that the knowledge must be accumulated through different sources. Believe me that nature never thought of it, nature never told us that this is botany or this is zoology. We have created the different disciplines for our convenience. And now our convenience tells us that we must understand the nature, or to understand the nature, all the subjects must be such that they must come close to each other. In a group of chemists or a research group of chemists, where scientific discussion is occurring or scientific discussion is taking place. We in America used to invite a philosopher. One particular day I asked my professor why this fellow is invited when he doesn't know anything of chemistry. Because he has not taken chemistry at a graduate level. So what is the use of this particular person in our scientific gathering? He said, this fellow, because he has not done any chemistry, will always think from a different angle. You, all of us, are trained in chemistry, so you will be thinking only in chemical angle or a specific direction. But this fellow will be thinking in an entirely different angle because he has absolutely no knowledge of chemistry. This is called unconventional thinking. We had one very great Nobel laureate, Professor Linus Pauling. Linus Pauling was Nobel laureate, but he was taking undergraduate classes in a university. When somebody asked him, you are such a big scientist and you are spending 3 hours in teaching undergraduate classes, he said, yes. I give a great liberty to the students and tell them, while I am teaching, you can ask any question. I am interested only in questions because these questions germinate problems in me which I think and are useful for my research. These problems would not have occurred in my mind because I am trained in a particular branch. But the students can think very independently and can ask any question. So asking question in a class is a very important thing. This is because of the fact that unless and until we don't think, we cannot ask questions. And unless and until we develop a habit of asking questions, we don't think. When Professor Kilby was awarded a Nobel Prize in physics, he was asked a specific question. Who is responsible for your getting Nobel Prize? Professor said, my mother. The correspondent asked, how do you say like that? He said, laughing, very simple. When I was in schools or in the university, and whenever I used to go home, my mother used to ask me a very simple question. I am not interested in your class. I am not interested in your learning. I am interested in asking you a very simple question. What question did you ask to your teacher today? Asking question is a very important thing. Raising question is a very important point. This particular faculty now will come with the students because we are now studying environment. The environment studies, we generate different ideas because we are not confining ourselves to one single topic. We are confining ourselves to several topics. And when we are confining ourselves to several topics, the question may come from different angles. And we have to solve this particular question such that we satisfy ourselves and the scientific and teaching community. And one very important point. that is coming out from this particular study is knowledge is immense. Knowledge cannot be understood at one stroke. It is a continuous search of knowledge that will take us to the truth. And understanding nature is nothing but understanding the natural truth. The study of environment philosophically has told us these things. And that is why those people who have started this study are really visionary. Visionary in the sense that they want to understand a problem which is directly related to us. This particular problem may be a global problem, like global warming. We are interested in a global problem, but we are mainly interested in the problems which are directly facing us. The first problem recently we are talking about India or clean India. India must be clean city, clean country. Every city must be very clean. All the garbage must be thrown. The wasteful garbage must be taken care of. We must develop a habit of throwing our garbage at the garbage can. How to do this? Our Prime Minister has given great initiative for this. And this initiative has to be cultivated and should be developed by every individual, from a child to a senior citizen, because our environment must be kept very clean. The clean environment is the only factor that will free us from epidemics. Recently we are talking about dengue or malaria fever. All these types of epidemics are to be completely annihilated, just as we had annihilated polio, which is a great boon now to our children, so that they can live a very healthy life as a child. Our every action should be to develop a population which is healthy, sound and mentally fit. That can be done by understanding the impact of environment on our social structure. So we must inculcate the spirit of cleanliness first, and cleanliness is the cleanliness of our resources. We have to discuss all these resources one by one, but the general introduction tells us there are several factors which we do it can be understood by going to the root cause. And going to the root cause is the main study that we are going to do in the series. As we say that the idea of cleanliness and the danger that is coming out because of so many diseases must be inculcated in the minds of the children in the schools. Because these children will definitely then take care. A story goes that some citizen who was not from England had been to England and was going by a bus. The bus conductor handed over me a ticket. When he got down, he thought that there is no use of this ticket and threw it on the road. A small school child was walking on the road. He collected the ticket, put it in his pocket. The citizen who was not from that country but from outside, asking smilingly, "Do you collect bus tickets? Do you want to collect bus tickets or it is your habit?" The small child answered, "No, sir. I am accustomed to keep my country clean. I want to keep my country extremely clean. That is why if somebody has thrown, I don't bother who has thrown this, I just keep it." This particular practice of keeping clean has to be told to children. And they must be told that if somebody is not following, the student should be bold enough to tell him or her on his face or her face that she or he is doing wrong. This is because it is a disrespect for our country. Unless and until we develop this habit, we shall not make our country clean. And if we can make this country clean, then it will be entirely different picture of this particular country for all the foreigners who visit us. Because if you go to America or Europe or even Japan, you will find all the roads are extremely clean, water is extremely clean, houses are extremely clean. This particular cleanliness is a part of that society. We have to develop that habit and keep ourselves clean so that our society and our country will remain clean. Now to remain clean, we will have to sacrifice our so many bad habits. How these particular bad habits are developed? This can be understood when we go to the individual parts in our environment studies. But let us think very well or understand the basics of this particular study. That this particular study, which will encompass several branches of science, arts, humanities, and most important, computer science. The computer science and the logic involved, and on top of it, medical science. Medical science is very important because man's good health is very important for the progress of society. We in our human body has got the biological mechanism by which our body functions. We eat food, we take air, we see through our eyes. All these functions are being manipulated by the brain. Blood is passing through our veins. And when we exercise and eat regularly, then our body is kept healthy and wise. One should not fall ill, or one should be free from diseases. That is why one should develop good habits. The biological phenomena or biochemical mechanism that is occurring so well with us that we have got almost 4.2 trillion cells or blood cells in our body, and each blood cells works efficiently well. This efficiency is 100%. When we eat and the food is digested, that energy is spent from our body to digest it. But this energy felt or energy spent is never felt by us. This action is reversible and slow. This is done by our body for months together, years together, until our lifetime. The mechanism or the biological mechanism is so perfect. The human body works so efficiently. What are the reasons for it or how it works has to be understood. This is covered in environment. This is because of the fact that whatever the sources you have got, what is the influence of the sources on our body, and how to keep our body clean and safe, ultimately giving us happiness, is a thing which has to be pondered over. This can be done as a child, as a human being, or as a senior citizen. One has to keep healthy body in a healthy mind, or healthy mind in a healthy body. Our body must be clean, then only mind will be clean. And if every mind is clean is, then every society will be clean and every city will be clean. We shall now have to go to a depth to understand each individual phenomena or concept which we have started today.